You're planning a trip to Switzerland in July and you're wondering what to expect. Well, in this video, I'll tell you everything you need to know and more because this is Switzerland Insider. My name is Greg, I'm Swiss. July is full summer in Switzerland and it is one of the warmest months of the year. In cities like Zurich, Lucerne or Geneva, daytime temperatures often are between 25 and 30 degrees centigrade. But during warmer periods, temperatures above 30 degrees are absolutely possible now. And sometimes it can stay hot for several days in a row. So, if you come to Switzerland in July, don't imagine that the whole country feels cool just because we have mountains. In the cities and in the valleys and around lakes, July can feel properly hot. Now, one big advantage of July, like in June, is daylight. The longest days are technically in June, but in July, the days are still very long. This gives you a lot of flexibility. You can go to the mountains in the morning, swim later in the day, and still have enough light for a walk or dinner outside in the evening. Now, at the same time, July has a very typical summer weather pattern. Especially in the mountains. Mornings are often the best part of the day. The air is clear, the temperatures are more comfortable, and the mountain views are usually better. Then, during the afternoon, thermal clouds often start building up. Sometimes this only affects visibility. Other times it can turn into rain showers or thunderstorms later in the day. And this is something I really want to emphasize. If the mountain views are important to you, go earlier in the day. And then there is another weather phenomenon, and that has to do with the Alps. So when you imagine the Alps as a mountain, the clouds moving in, they get blocked by the mountains, which means that they stay there and they empty themselves. That can happen. Usually that means prolonged days of rain, maybe 4 or 5 days at a row, for example. But it also means that when the clouds are here on the other side of the mountains, there are no clouds. So when you check the weather forecast for southern Switzerland, when it's sunny, very often in the north of Switzerland it's rainy. But that can happen vice versa as well. So can be Lauterbrunnen, rainy, Zermatt, best sunshine. And the other way. Now, let's talk about the mountains because July is very different from spring or even early June. By July, Switzerland is in full summer mode. Almost all major mountain infrastructure is operating. And of course, you still need to check the exact schedule before you go. Because strong winds, thunderstorms, extended maintenance or even construction or technical issues can always affect individual lifts. But in general, July is one of the easiest and best months for mountain access. Now, this also means that Switzerland is not in shoulder season anymore. July is peak season. The famous places are open, but they're also very busy. And this is exactly where having a clear plan helps. I've created itineraries and travel guides that cover everything you actually need to know about each area. They include done-for-you itineraries, destination breakdowns with many places that are not as crowded, city guides where applicable, and of course, places to eat and stay. So you know where to eat Swiss dishes, but also international cuisine. I'd say you can plan your entire trip with them and will be better prepared than most other travelers. You'll find them at switzerlandinsider.com/guides or linked below. Now let's talk about hiking. July is one of the main hiking months in Switzerland. Lower and mid-elevation trails are usually in very good condition now, and many higher alpine trails become realistic as well. This is the month when hikes like the 5 Lakes Walk in Zermatt, the Eiger Trail near Grindelwald, or the Stoss Ridge hike can become very good options. But there are a few things you need to understand. Switzerland hiking is often more demanding than visitors expect. Distances can look short, but elevation gain makes a big difference. Now, a trail that looks easy on a map can still include steep climbs, narrow sections, loose stones, and exposed parts. Always check current trail conditions locally before you go. And don't forget the weather forecast. A thunderstorm in the mountains is not something you want to experience on an exposed trail. So, bring enough water, wear proper shoes, check the weather, and be willing to change your plans if the conditions are not right. Now, July is also when lake season is fully part of the Switzerland experience. Swimming is completely normal now. This is not just something tourists do. Locals do it all the time as well. This is one of the nicest parts of July. You can combine sightseeing and swimming very easily. You can visit a city in the morning, do something cultural or historic, then spend the afternoon by the lake and have dinner outside in the evening. So, for many, I recommend using official bathing areas whenever possible. Therefore, I've listed plenty of them in my travel guides. Now let's talk about crowds, because this is one of the most important things to understand about July. July is one of the busiest months of the entire year in Switzerland. Places like Lucerne, Interlaken and Lauterbrunnen can feel very full, especially before people go to or return from the mountains. In July, popular trains can be busy. Cable cars can have queues. Some mountain trains implemented a reservation system to handle demand, and viewing platforms can be crowded too. Now, usually the restaurants in tourist areas fill up and hotel prices in famous regions can be very high. Swiss public transport is excellent, but during peak summer it can still get very crowded. Trains like Lucerne to Interlaken, Interlaken to Lauterbrunnen and the route into Zermatt can be very busy. So, build in a bit of patience. Don't plan every day down to the last minute, and if you need seat reservations on certain panoramic trains, take care of that early. Now, July is also a month with many events and festivals. Switzerland is very active in summer. You have open-air concerts, local village festivals, food events, cultural events, lake events, and mountain events. So, a look into the event calendar of your destination is clearly recommended. Now let's talk about prices and availability. July is peak season, so this is not the month where I would expect easy bargains in the most popular areas. Accommodation should be booked well in advance. Good hotels in good locations can sell out, and once they sell out, the remaining options are often the more expensive, less convenient, or simply not that good ones. Air conditioning is also something to mention here. Many hotels in Switzerland do not have strong air conditioning, especially older hotels and mountain hotels. So if this is important to you, check before booking. Don't assume it will be there. Also, when you combine hotels, transport, food, cable cars and activities, July can become one of the most expensive months to visit Switzerland. Now, if you're just getting started with planning your Switzerland trip, I also have a free Switzerland planning starter pack. It includes 2 guides that help you understand the basics and choose the right train pass for your trip. You can download it for free at switzerlandinsider.com/start or linked below. Now, a few practical tips for July. Start mountain days early. This is the main rule for July. You get better views, fewer thermal clouds, cooler temperatures, and less risk of afternoon thunderstorms. Don't overpack your itinerary. July days are long, but heat, crowds, and travel time can make a packed itinerary feel much harder than expected. Then bring proper summer clothing and swimwear, but still pack layers. In Zurich or Lucerne, it can be above 30 degrees in the afternoon on some days, but at a mountain viewpoint, it still can be very windy and cool. Now bring sunscreen and sunglasses and a hat. The sun is strong in July, especially at altitude, which can burn quickly in the mountains, even if the air feels fresh. And then check the weather forecast every day, especially for the mountain days. Don't just check the temperature, look at cloud cover, thunderstorms, wind, and visibility, and best of all, webcams as well. Then stay flexible. If the morning is clear, use it. If the afternoon becomes cloudy, shift to lakes, towns, museums, restaurants, or easier activities. You'll find plenty of options for that in my travel guides. Now, here's how I, as a local, would plan a trip to Switzerland in July. I would first accept that July is peak summer season. So I would not try to fight the month. I would plan with the month. For a first trip, I would probably combine one city or a lake base with one proper mountain region, for example, Lucerne and the Jungfrau region. I would plan mountain excursions early in the day, then I would keep afternoons more relaxed. Maybe swimming, a boat ride, a village walk, a museum, or just time by the lake. And honestly, I would not try to see the entire country in 1 week. July gives you excellent access, but it also brings crowds and heat. So the best July trip is usually not the one with the most stops, it's the one with the best pacing. Thank you very much for watching. See you soon around in Switzerland. Bis bald und tschüss.